In our previous two conversations with Bill Reditzel, we talked about his first and second most important laws in technology, shaping the past of technology, present trends, and which might lead us into understanding the future of technology. In this session, we're asking Bill, what is your third most important law that shapes technology from the past through the present and maybe into the future?
One of the key genius elements of Steve Jobs was the realization that there was a limit to how fast your users can absorb technology. And I think that as you look forward, that is still a key constraint. And as you watch the smartphone revolution as it rolled out, we kept adding things to it. But as people became comfortable with one layer of innovation, you could go add a second, you could go add a third, you could go add a fourth. I don't know that most of the wonderful things that we do on our smartphones today would have been accepted 10 years ago. Because as a population, we weren't used to doing that. And he was very good at figuring out how many things you could announce at a time. I heard him say once that if you announce more than 3 features in a product release, everything after 3 is wasted, because consumers can't really process more than 3 at a time. And so Apple's always been pretty consistent at steadily rolling out features and adding them, even though they could have rolled them out as one big release, and they never did it. And I think absorptive capacity is the third law. Now, absorptive capacity is growing in leaps and bounds, which I think is one of the challenges for every company serving consumers, is because the ability of consumers to absorb change is getting larger. As they become more comfortable with technology and with running their lives in a technology way, the ability to absorb new and different things keeps increasing. I mean, when you watch a baby scroll an iPad at 10 months, you realize this is very different. I just saw a video that was done in a research where they put mothers and their 3-year-olds to a test, and the 3-year-old could go to the iPad or the mother. Not a single 3-year-old went to the mother. The mother is there, screaming to the baby, please, boy, girl, black, they go immediately to the iPad, and the mother is sitting there sometimes in tears because they thought that the child loved them. But no, given a choice between an iPad and mommy, they went to the iPad. And I mean, that is scary, but it's also very real. You see a 2-year-old know how to go to Netflix on an iPhone and watch a video and think it's normal. They go up to the TV set. Everyone tells these stories of a young child going up to a TV set and trying to use their hand to get it to switch, and not understanding that that isn't the way it works. So I think that the ability of society to absorb this stuff is increasing massively, and that again will lead to, that will lead to huge disruption, because normally this stuff would take 10 years to get adopted. We used to talk about the fact that the DVD player was the most rapid uptake ever in consumer electronics. Well, today we measure uptake in days, not years, because people take it so fast and absorb new apps and things. Waze, which is the Israeli invention, which Google just bought for doing crowdsourced traffic management, you can use it anywhere in the world. It's a couple of years old. WhatsApp, which just got bought for $19 billion, is a handful of years old. So uptake here is very different, but that all gets back to absorptive capacity and the ability of us to absorb change.
Well, it's very interesting. Out of the 3 laws that you mentioned, only one had to do with technology. The other 2 were human issues.
Why is that a surprise? Technology is meaningless by itself. It has no content. It's the way in which we interact with technology that's interesting. There's not a lot of, people are guessing about maybe we'll get quantum computers or something else, but there isn't a lot of going on and changing the way we do this stuff. It's all in the way in which we apply it. And that's all interaction with humans. And that's going to be the challenges. It's not going to be the technology, it's how we apply it.
What is interesting is therefore it is also the people in technology who understand the human interface that are really making the money in technology. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's people. Mark Andreessen 2 years ago at a NASPERS meeting affirmed something he said earlier, but not very often, which is software is eating the world. And it's just hard to see what business model can't be disrupted now by software. I mean, who would have thought that we would completely disrupt the taxi and limousine services all over the world with services like Uber and Halo, which change it, because now there's no value in being able to hail a cab. There's no value in being a license that I can be hailed, because anybody can hail me by pulling out their smartphone and it knows my location and it tells it and I can go get a car. Nobody was writing about that. Airbnb, which you can use all over the world, is beginning to compete with hotels. I mean, I think they're up to about 20% of hotel rooms in the world are now available in the equivalent number in Airbnb. I mean, Airbnb is changing the way in which we're going to have to go build resorts, hotels, and how it changes the market. I mean, we are becoming an asset-light society because technology is letting us be asset-light as opposed to asset-heavy. And one of the long-term consequences of all of this is that potentially we're going to have lower growth because we're not going to be building as many hotels, we're not going to be building as many offices. When I was the chief financial officer of Sun, we built the campus which Facebook occupies today. They have 3 times as many employees on it as we planned, because the employees want and accept different things. They have free food, they have a lot of other benefits and perks, but they don't have as much office space. And we spent a lot of money building buildings to give them office space because we thought that was important. But people are accepting other things. At Google, instead of a nice office, you get a nice pair of Bose headphones, so you can block out the noise. I mean, the kinds of changes the technology are driving are omnipresent. I mean, they're everywhere. They're ubiquitous. They're in all parts of the economy, and it's very hard to think where this is going to stop. And it's going to be human factors which stop it, not technology factors.
Thank you so much, Bill. This was extremely insightful.